been together a decade, live in an area with one kiddo, and are basically paycheck to paycheck while attempting to tackle a moderately large credit card debt. By the way, this comes from temporary page 4264 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So despite this, we've gotten a few trips in the last year to see family together, and she has taken 2 trips solo. One where I was invited and declined for financial reasons, one that was a girls' weekend where I was not. A few months ago, we were both invited to a destination wedding, which would require significant costs. I pushed back that we couldn't afford it, and she reluctantly agreed. Situation. I have a trip to see my family coming up this summer. I am bringing the kiddo, and I invited her, but she is unable to attend due to work. She was initially fine with this, but now that I'm about to buy our tickets, she is feeling excluded and making the situation tense. I've re-emphasized that she is invited, but it is not my family's problem that her work won't give her time off. Her response was basically, I'm okay with you going, but that means I get to go to destination wedding location. I won't sugarcoat it. I flipped out, just under yelling at her that she's already had 2 solo trips and does not get to weaponize mine to get another vacation that she wants. The back and forth isn't relevant, with the exception of her bringing up that she hasn't seen her overseas extended family in years, and why isn't she allowed to visit them, which is not only ridiculous because they don't get along, but was brought up after destination wedding location, so it felt totally disingenuous to tug on my heartstrings. After some back and forth, she came up with a compromise. She would ask her parents to fund destination wedding. I initially told her I didn't care, it's not our money, and she could do what she wants. I honestly didn't think she'd ask them. We cooled off. End of fight. The next day, she lets me know she is going to ask them today and starts trying to talk through ways to save on lodging. I am irate, but tell her I am over the conversation and passive-aggressively that she can do what she wants. She used my only solo trip of the year, which could have been a family trip if not for her job, to justify an additional trip for herself, giving her 3 to my 1. Not only that, she's planning to ask her parents for money, which I hate for obvious reasons, to fund the trip, which, yeah, it's not our money, but we have an amount of credit card debt that would make most people blush. Because if she goes through with it, I fully plan to tell her that the financial decisions she's making are not conducive to a long-term partnership, and that if a 3rd trip is more important to her than dealing with our debt, we need to have a serious conversation on whether or not to stay together. It feels nuclear, but the gall to make the play, and also that the total disregard for our financial situation, is driving me insane. So if I make the threat, am I overreacting? And there is an update. Overreacting by threatening divorce. Message received, it is an overreaction. So Reddit agreed with first fight over finances, and I'm not sure how to make her take it seriously. Parent, I want my child to remember their grandparent. We can afford it. We have debt, but we are not broke, and I won't apologize for prioritizing seeing family for $400 total when I have no idea if I'll have more opportunities with said parent.
Okay, that's
And then attending wedding in a different country for a friend she talks to twice a year. On debt. Debt is not insignificant, but it is going down. Taking a trip means a month of just paying interest. On keeping score, sure, I guess I am. I don't disagree that this is childish, but ask yourself how you would feel if your partner could find time for multiple trips, then use the one you were talking about to justify another for themselves solo. It's maddening. By the way, it's maddening. Update 2. Wow, that was a lot. Responding here because it's way too much to get to them all. Sincerely, thanks for the responses, positive and negative. There were a ton of really thoughtful posts, supportive and otherwise, and going through the vast majority was a far healthier venting process than starting a potentially nuclear fight, hitting the big stuff below. Yes, I would be overreacting if I raised the tension to that level over this fight. As I said, it's not our first fight over finances, and it's not the first time we've had to dig out of debt. That said, I love my family, and the consensus that I shouldn't threaten something I'm not willing to go through is absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
There are far healthier ways to raise something that is important. For those who only skimmed, I did not elevate it. I vented to Reddit, and I'm ready to have a more productive conversation with my spouse. My wife isn't cheating on me. I get it. Reddit is more fun when there's infidelity, but I know her. I know the friends she's gone on solo trips with. I trust her completely. My wife hosted a girls' trip 6 months after the birth of our child. She earned it. I chose not to attend the other trip, a separate wedding, due to the finances. I would encourage anyone who automatically assumes a solo trip means affair to take a deep breath. That's not a healthy mindset to take into your own relationship. Finances. Respectfully, I've explained one piece of a puzzle, credit card debt. I have chose not to go into equity, retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, all of which I treat as something for the future, which should only be tapped into for emergencies. There are a lot of people here who think any debt is poison. That debt is an emergency, and they aren't wrong. That said, for work, we were overseas and unable to see family for years. We have a few years home and are willing to absorb some extra debt to make sure we do spend time with them when we can. We will be back overseas next year and don't want to miss the time we have now. That said, it's Reddit. I get it. You're operating from the information you've been provided. Anyway, message received. You can keep savaging me, but I will likely not respond to any more posts on this. Again, I do genuinely appreciate most of the feedback here. I didn't come in expecting everyone to support me. And wow, was I wrong on what the consensus would be, but I got what I needed, even from the really preachy stuff. Best